And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I cannot believe what I have just seen. We just did a video here with Trevor Phillips this morning and Liz Kendall, and I thought that was truly insane to watch. The sort of, her actually trying to defend the indefensible and trying to continue to gaslight. But we've got another whole different thing here, as we've got an extraordinary case of whataboutery. And credit to the news host, she's not having any of it. But essentially we've got Labour MP Tom Hayes arrogantly lying, gaslighting, and trying to change the subject when asked about Keir Starmer appointing Peter Mandelson. This is what the British people want to know. This is what the journalists are trying to get the answers to these questions about what Keir Starmer is. Keir Starmer, of course, is just trying to, go under the radar, not face the music, trying to come up with a plan. This plan, obviously, in that interview in Paris where he was like, "Oh, I didn't know, I'm truly livid," is not quite working. No one's buying it. So, of course, he's trying to buy himself time over the weekend. And now we've got these random Labour MPs coming onto sort of the Sunday interviews and just whataboutery and just trying to gaslight and just trying to save their own skin. But this is crazy. The news host, again, credit to her, she really tears him to shreds. And this is an absolute car crash. Let's have a watch, guys. But first, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. Just a quick one, guys. We have dropped our brand new Scarface collection. We've got the Nigel Farage design and the Rupert Lowe design. Do shop the new collection by going down into the link in the description or heading to BritishStand.com.
If you want to talk about incuriosity, and I think this is really important, I don't know if you saw the breaking news today. Really important breaking news I don't think GB News has covered, which is that people are going to work every single day. They're working hard, they're paying taxes, they're probably rightly unhappy in some respects about the level of tax they're paying. That tax could come down if people elsewhere pay their taxes, and Richard Tice dodged £100,000 of tax payment. He put that as a consequence of his investment company into reform.
Extraordinary whataboutery, Mr. Hayes, honestly.
It's not. If you think it's whataboutery to dodge tax and not cover it.
This is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking about the Prime Minister. No, I'm not talking about Richard Tice right now. I'm talking about the Prime Minister.
GB News aren't talking about Richard Tice or his non-payment of tax.
Park that right now, because I believe that Mr. Tice denies that story and is potentially issuing legal warnings about it.
But
this is extraordinary. I want to talk about the Prime Minister. First of all,
you do. You don't want to talk about Richard Tice not paying his tax. Why don't you want to talk about Richard Tice not paying his tax?
Are you for real? Are you seriously trying to make a story about the Prime Minister being on the brink, possibly facing either being sacked or resigning next week?
I'm asking GB News to respect its viewers and to cover all stories that they would find interesting.
Mr. Hayes, have you ever known me to not cover stories that are negative about the
tax, and they need to, and they're paying more tax because he's not paying his.
Okay, let's just reconstitute this before, frankly, you really embarrass yourself. We're going to talk about the Prime Minister.
If we're going to go down this road.
I'm going to ask you questions and you're going to answer them. You're not asking me the questions because I'm the journalist and you're the politician. You're now defending the Prime Minister. Now, he did know.
You should be covering all stories.
He did know that Peter Mandelson was linked to Jeffrey Epstein. We know he knew that because we know he was given an article by The Telegraph, which I co-wrote, laying bare the absolutely close relationship between Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein. So unfortunately, that argument fails. He's either misled Parliament knowingly or unknowingly. But whatever the case, he's misled Parliament, hasn't he?
You aren't writing any articles about whether Richard Tice is paying his tax or not, I note. But on that question about what Parliament knows, Parliament on Monday will hear from the Prime Minister. There'll be plenty of opportunities for MPs to ask questions. There are further Prime Minister's questions to take place. And on Friday, when the Prime Minister went to the country via the media, he told what he knew, and he was asked questions then too. On Friday, he was in Paris bringing together world leaders to tackle the problems in our country arising from the Straits of Hormuz closing, because we had Donald Trump launch that optional war.
I tell you what the Prime Minister knew.
Leadership on the world stage.
I tell you what the Prime Minister knew, Mr. Hayes,
into a better
very
position.
Disturbingly. This is what the Prime Minister knew on Tuesday. The Prime Minister knew on Tuesday that Peter Mandelson had failed the vetting and that everything he had said to Parliament and the public, including an exchange with Kemi Badenoch on February the 4th and then a press conference in Hastings on February the 5th, was wrong. He did not think to mention this to the House of Commons on Wednesday at Prime Minister's questions. What's his excuse for that?
Well, that's a great question. Let's get into that. If you as Prime Minister are not told about the failure in security vetting or the override, and then you do find out, what are you going to do? You're going to wonder what the hell is going on. You're going to wonder why you had information kept from you. So he instructed his cabinet secretary to assemble the facts, and once those facts were assembled, he's then going to Parliament at the earliest opportunity. Parliament doesn't sit on Friday. We were all in our constituencies. On Monday, he'll be coming to the House of Commons, and I hope to see you cover it.
That is honestly crazy. I've never seen something like that, actually, from a politician being asked about questions. I mean, I see it with the Labour Party all of the time. They're constantly trying to do whataboutery. You see their performances in Prime Minister's questions and in the Commons. It's always questions asked on behalf of the British public, and then they just, go and talk about the Tories or talk about reform. And that's exactly what they're trying to do there. Well, if he's so concerned about tax and all of the rest of it, then, Angela Rayner was the biggest one for dodging tax. But regardless of what happened to Richard Tice, if that's true, then of course he will get, his fair share of the media coming his way. But right now, this is far more important, right? What we're talking about with Keir Starmer, with accusations of him misleading the House. And what Keir Starmer has obviously done here, instead of facing the music himself, he's obviously allowed the weekend and trying to sort of regroup to come up with an excuse, because he knows that the people aren't buying that interview in Paris when he was saying that he was absolutely livid and he didn't know. He's just trying to get them out there to sort of defend him. Now, what we're starting to hear is that a lot of Labour MPs are not defending him, nor would they back him if there was a vote of no confidence. So that could be the next stage here. But of course, there's a lot of people trying to save. Politics is a very selfish game, right? They're all trying to, again, protect Keir Starmer because they think they'll get something better out from it, all right? Or if a general election was ever called, then they know they're not going to be getting their seats. So a lot of it's about self-centered and not doing what's best for the country. But I've not seen an interview like that. That is truly, truly insane and was very, very hard to watching it. But unsurprising, happens quite a lot of the time, especially in the Commons as well. And we're starting to see that. But this is where they are. This is who they are. And this is two interviews that we have seen today. We've seen one today, of course, with Liz Kendall on Trevor Phillips. And again, it's trying to defend the indefensible and try and gaslight and try and push an agenda that's not true. And it's truly, truly shocking to see. Guys, do let me know your thoughts on that interview down there in the comment section below. And as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more.